Hello guys, welcome to Ramsai IAS, the second video on ratios and fractions. Just read the first question in this video. Out of 120 applicants for a post, 70 are male and 80 have driving license. What is the ratio between the minimum to maximum number of males having the driving license? Here this question is not exactly from the ratios. We have to use a bit knowledge of sets as well. Okay, so let me explain you how to solve this problem. Right, out of 120 applicants, total 120 I have. Out of 120, 70 are male candidates and 80 has driving license. Just imagine here we need to find out the minimum and the maximum number of male candidates who has the driving license, right? So just imagine if 70 are male candidates, just imagine the remaining are female candidates only, and what can be the remaining value? The remaining female candidates can be total 50, right? See, 70 are males and 50 are females out of 120. Now, out of 120 people, 80 has driving license, right? So, if you want to get the minimum number of males who has driving license, just imagine the 50 females has driving license. Just imagine 50 females has driving license. Then out of 80, if 50 females has driving license, the remaining 30 must be males only now. So 30 male candidates may have driving license. And next thing, if you want to get the maximum number of male candidates who has driving license, just imagine out of this 80, all 70 male candidates has the driving license, the remaining 10 can be of female. So at max, how many male candidates can have driving license? 70. The ratio will be 30:70, that is 3:7, which is in option C. So S, option C, 3:7 is the answer. Just in this question, imagine what is the minimum and maximum, the same question, number of females having the driving license. Females, then what can be the answer? See, if you want to get the minimum number of females having driving license, just imagine out of 80, 70 driving license are for male candidates only. Then females may have, no, 10 females only may have driving license. These are the 10. And if you want to get the maximum number of females having driving license, the 50 may have. However, we have total 80, no? Out of 80, 50 may have driving license. Then the ratio will be 1:5. So this 1:5 is for female and this 3:7 is for male candidates. Hope it is clear. The next question in this video, just read it once. In a class, there are 18 very tall boys, okay? If these constitute 3/4 of the boys and the total number of boys is 2/3 of the total number of students in the class, what is the number of girls in the class? Okay, here we need to find out the two fractions. The very tall boys in boys and boys in the class. So tall boys in boys, the boys in the overall class, okay? So tall boys in boys and boys in the overall class. Here we need to find out the two ratios, right? Let me find it out. In a class there are 18 very tall people, very tall boys. If these consist of 3/4 of the boys, okay, this is constituting total 3/4 of the boys. So just imagine there are total B number of boys, okay, B boys are there, and 3/4 of these boys gives you 18 as mentioned in the question itself. So 3/4 of boys equal to 18. Then tell me how many boys are there in the class? 24 are boys. So in the class we have total 24 boys. But here the total number of boys is 2/3 of the total class. So boys gives you total 2/3 of the class. Just imagine this circle represents the total strength of the class. If I divide this into three parts, two parts is by boys, right, and the remaining one part is by girls. Now the three parts, the two parts is representing total 24 boys. So I will divide this 24 into two parts, like 12 here, 12 here. Obviously the number of girls also must be 12. So total how many girls we have? 12 girls, which is in option B. See, if you don't understand this diagram, no worries. Total boys are 24. You are clear with this now? Next, let me explain. Total out of 24 are boys. Total in the total class, 2/3 are boys. So just imagine total we have C members in the class. Then 2/3 of it gives you 24. So from this we can write C equal to 24 into 3 by 2, that equal to 36. So here total strength of the class is 36. Out of 36, 24 are boys. Then the girls will be 36 minus 12, that is 36 minus 24, that is 12. Which is in option B. So 36 minus 24. Hope it is clear. The next question in this video. Two equal glasses of same type are respectively 1/3 and 1/4 full of milk. They are then filled up with water and the contents are mixed in a pot. Then what is the ratio of milk and water in the pot? Okay, there are two glasses. Glasses are nothing but vessels here. I will consider two glasses as A and B. Glass A, glass B. Okay, and milk to water. Milk to water. See, two glasses of same quantity initially, right? So I will consider one more thing here. This is of 12 liters and this is of 12 liters. Why I consider only 12? Because the respective milk ratio is 1:3 and 1:4, right? So I will consider the LCM of 3 and 4, that is 12 liters and 12 liters. Out of 12 liters, okay, 1/3 is of milk in A. So out of 12, 1/3 means 4 liters of milk here. So remaining 8 liters are water only. In second glass or second vessel, 1/4 of 12 is of milk only, means 3 liters of milk, and remaining 9 liters are water. Now the 12 in A and B together mixed in another vessel C. This has total 24 liters because 12 plus 12. In the 12 plus 12, 24 liters, how many liters are milk and how many liters of 24 is water? 4 plus 3 is 7 and 8 plus 9 is 17. So the ratio of milk to water in the pot is 7:17. Can you find 7:17 in options? Yes, option A, 7:17 is the answer. Guys, not only these numbers, you can consider any, you will get the same answer. Next one. In a rare coin collection, there is one gold coin for every 3 non-gold coins. Okay, 10 more gold coins are added to the collection and the ratio of gold coins to the non-gold coins would be 1:2. Based on the information, the total number of coins in the collection now becomes dash. Okay, I will consider the gold coins as the number of gold coins as G and non-gold coins as N. Then the ratio will be 1 gold coin for every 3 non-gold coins, 1:3, right? Next, what happened? When we add 10 more gold coins, G by 10, and we did not add any non-gold coins here, by N equal to, the ratio will be 1:2 here. Guys, remember Here we have two unknowns, number of gold coins, number of non-gold coins, and you need two equations to solve this, and of course we got two equations. From this I can write 3 gold coins equal to non-gold coins, the number. From this do cross multiplication, 2g plus 20 equal to n, right? But in the two cases it is equal to n only, na? Then I will convert it into gold coins. See, equate the two, 3g equal to, so ultimately 3g equal to n equal to n. So equate the two equations, 2g plus 20. So from this, number of gold coins equal to 20. If number of gold coins are 20, obviously number of non-gold coins must be 60. So total number of gold and non-gold coins together equal to how much? The 60 and 20 together it is 80. But it was initially. And the question, the total number of coins becomes a dash. So after adding 10 more gold coins, 80 plus 10, it becomes 90, which is in option A. Guys, remember, many people do this mistake. They will go with 60 plus 20, 80, option B. See, this is a trap for you. The actual answer is not 80. Here we added 10 more gold coins. So 80 plus 10, it will be 90, which is in option A. Okay? Hope it is clear. The next question. The monthly incomes of X and Y are in the ratio 4:3 and their monthly expenses are in the ratio 3:2. However, each saves 6,000 per month. What is their total monthly income? Okay, I'll do one thing, as it was given in the form of ratio. Okay, I'll consider a common factor for the ratios. Don't be confused, just watch. I am talking about their incomes here, okay? I am talking about their incomes. The ratio is 4:3. So I will consider it as 4a rupees and 3a rupees for X and Y respectively. Similarly, when it comes to their expenses, X is to Y equal to 3:2. So I will consider it as 3b rupees expense for X, 2b rupees expense for Y. Then what is the meaning of savings? Saving is total earnings or total income minus expenditure, right? So now tell me, what is the savings for X? What is savings for X? X is earning 4a rupees and it is spending 3b rupees. So 4a minus 3b will be savings for X, and X is saving 6,000 rupees. So this is equal to 6,000 rupees. Similarly, when it comes to Y, Y is earning 3a rupees and it is spending 2b rupees. This is also equal to 6,000 only. Guys, can you observe? We have two unknowns, A and B, and we have two equations. Solve them, you will get the values of A and B. Okay, then what we need to find out? What is their total monthly income? When you get A and B, okay, just get A value enough. I don't need B value because I need to find out their incomes only, total income. Total income will be 4a plus 3a, that equal to 7a. So by solving the two equations, find out A value and find out 7a value. Okay, so let me solve the problem. Two equations, I will write the equations here. Can I write 4a minus 3b as, can I erase this? Okay, I can write it as, I need to cancel b's, right? So I'll multiply equation 1 with 2. 8a minus 6b equal to 12,000, and similarly here I will multiply with 3, the second equation with 3, then it will be 9a minus 6b equal to, 18,000. Minus plus minus will be cancelled. 9a minus 8a will be a. 18,000 minus 12,000 gives you 6,000. So a value I am getting 6,000. Substitute here. We need to find out their total income. The total income, right? That is 7a. 7 into 6, 42,000. So I'll substitute this a value in 7a. So 7a equal to 7 into 6,000. 42,000 rupees is the answer. Can you find 42,000 in options? Yes. Option B is the answer. Right? So the next one, the monthly incomes of Peter and Paul are in the ratio 4:3. Their expenses are in the ratio 3:2. If each saves 6,000 at the end of the month, their monthly incomes respectively are dash. See, this is an extension question for the previous one, right? Previously we calculated what is the combined income of A and B. Here the names were changed to Peter and Paul, and we need to find out their individual incomes. That's it. So as we already remembered, the total income was 24,000 rupees for A and B, right? So just add the given values where you are getting 42,000 rupees. That will be the answer, right? So yes, I'll go with option A because no other options gives a sum 42,000 rupees. But this is a separate question, right, which was asked in 2015 GSAT. How to solve this problem? Do you need to solve the previous problem completely and then cross check? No, there is another method to solve this problem. You see how I am going to solve this. I can solve this problem by using trial and error method with the options. Okay, see, the monthly incomes of Peter and Paul should be in the ratio 4:3. So their incomes ratio should be 4:3. Okay, so 4:3. 6 4s, 6 3s. Yes, option A has 4:3. Then we can consider option A. I am going to eliminate few other options. Okay, now 32 and 24. This is 3, 8 3s, 8 4s. Yes, this is also giving 4:3 ratio. So I can consider C as well. When it comes to B, 7 3s are 21, 7 4s are 28. It should be 28 but not 23. If it is 28,000, I can consider option B as well, but here we have only 23, so I can eliminate option B. Are you getting my point? See, 23 and 21, they are not in the ratio of 4:3, right? Of course, they are co-primes, they will not have the same common ratio. Next, 34 and 26. See, here the 26 should be a multiple of 3, but 26 is not a multiple of 3. See, 4 should be a multiple of 34 should be a multiple of 4, but it is not. And the ratio will be how much? (17:13) but not 4:3. So you can eliminate option D as well. So ultimately after this, our answer may be either A or C. Okay, I'll consider option C first. If their incomes are 32,000 and 24,000 respectively, after spending 6,000 rupees, this is their savings, no? So if I subtract the 6,000 rupees savings, then it gives you the expenditure, right? Income minus savings gives you expenditure, obviously. Then the expenditure will be 6,000 for this. Yes, if I subtract 6,000 from 24, then it gives 18,000. Now this ratio should be 3:2. Their expenses ratio should be 3:2. So if you want to get 3:2, 9 2s are 18, it should be 27. 9 3s should be 27, but here we have 26. So the ratio will not be 3:2. So let me consider 26 by 18. The ratio will be 13:9, but not 3:2. So option D option C can be eliminated. The only possible answer is option A. Let me cross check in the same way. Okay, initially if it is 24,000 and 18,000, and after spending, okay, 24,000 and 18,000, this is the incomes, these are the incomes, and savings are 6,000 and 6,000 respectively. Then their incomes will be difference of these two, and it will be 18,000 and it will be 12,000, and the ratio will be dash 3 zeros, 3 zeros, 6 threes, 6 twos. The ratio is 3:2 as mentioned in the question itself. So option A gives you exact answer. Hope it is clear. So we can solve few questions by using trial and error method as well. The next question in this video, just read it. It's very simple one. What is the largest number among the following? We cannot use any other model except trial and error for this question, right? So I'll do one thing. Before explaining these exact values, let me tell you something. 1 by A can be written as A power minus 1, okay, and A power m whole power n gives you A power m into n, okay. So just imagine 2 power 2 whole power 3. This question you need not to solve like 2 into 2 is 4, 4 power 3 is 64. No, you need not to solve like that. Just write 2 power 2 into 3, 6. 2 power 6 also gives you the same answer, okay. See, for 2 and 4 that is okay to calculate in either ways, but if it is a larger number, better you can go with this formula, right. So by using these two concepts, I am going to solve the question. Okay, 1 by 2, can I write 1 by 2 as 2 power minus 1 and whole power minus 6. I can write it as 2 power minus 1 into minus 6 gives you 6. So indirectly I can write option A as 2 power 6. Why not? Yes, the second option. 1 by 4, can I write it as 4 power minus 1, and of course 4 as 2 square, 2 power minus 2, and this whole power minus 3. So it will be 2 into 3 is 6, minus into minus becomes plus. So 2 power 6. Option B also 2 power 6 only. The next option C, can I write it as 3 power minus 1 whole power minus 4 that equal to 3 power 4? Yes, this is 3 power 4. And the last one, 6 power minus 1 whole power minus 2. So I can write it as 6 square. Okay, so I'll erase all the work I done here, and let me calculate the final values of A, B, C, D. Okay, so A will be 2 power 6, how much it is? 64. B, 2 power 6, 64. Obviously as these two are same, they will not be the answers, as we cannot have two different options as answer. Next, 3 power 4, it will be 81. Option D, 6 square is 36. So now tell me which is the largest number here. Obviously option C is the largest one. So I will go with option C, 1 by 3 power minus 4. So option C is the answer, 1 by 3 whole power minus 4. And the last question in this video, just read it once. The recurring decimal represents 1.2727272727 and so on is equivalent to dash. So I'll do one thing, I'll take the options, I'll find out the recurring fraction or recurring decimal. So option A, divide 13 with 11, 11 ones are 11 and remainder is 2. If you put a dot here, you can put a 0. 11 ones are 11 and remainder is 9. So here recurring decimal will be 1.1 something, but our question is with starting with 1.2, so you can eliminate option A. Next, let me check with option B. Divide 14 with 11. 11 ones are 11 point, 11 twos are 22, and it is 8. So put 0 here. 11 sevens are 77, 3. 11 twos are 22, 8. 11 sevens are 77, 3. Can you observe? This is getting repeated every time. 30, 80, 30, 80, and every time you are getting 2, 7, 2, 7. So this is a recurring decimal. So 14 by 11 is giving you 1.2727272727. So I'll go with option B, 14 by 11. If you want, you can cross check with other two options as well, but ultimate answer will be option B, 14 by 11 only. So guys, that's it. Keep watching.